Come on, you can do better. Good morning. You know, it is an honor and a privilege to have the opportunity to introduce today's keynote speaker. In a decisive moment, you can either define the moment or let the moment define you. That simple but profound quote defines our speaker, and that is the mantra that he lives by. Calvin Hayes is an alumni of the YMCA's Teen Achievers program and a fellow alumni of the mighty Jones High School. I first met this young man in his freshman year at Jones High School. Paul Sneed and I interviewed him and made him a part of our 100 Black Men Project Success at Jones High. And Calvin, back in those days, was a shining star. As a student at Jones High School, he was wise beyond his years. And we had the privilege of being a part of his life throughout high school and college. Calvin is a graduate of the Florida A&M University and holds a master's degree in international communications and public diplomacy from American University. He is a published author and founder of the Define Movement Enterprises. Throughout my life, I've had the distinct pleasure of meeting with and working with alongside many great leaders and truly great Americans. Today, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to see and hear a truly great leader and a truly great American. The words United States diplomat, orator, activist, author, and minister are not often found in one individual. But this young man, Calvin Hayes, is the exception to the rule. He has always believed that to accomplish great things, you must dream and act as well. For when that decisive moment comes, and it will come, you must either define the moment or it will define you. Calvin Hayes has learned in his life to define the moment and not let the moment define him. He's a leader beginning with his days at Jones High School, and most importantly, he's a learner, willing to listen and learn from those who could impart information to him. Our speaker has traveled nearly 40 countries around the globe, and as a part of his work with the United States Department of State, he has worked in Northeast Africa on human rights and food security issues. Currently, he serves as an American diplomat at the United States Embassy in Bogota, Colombia. In this role, he's responsible for facilitating millions of dollars in business investments and trade between Colombia and the United States. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pride that I present to you United States diplomat, Mr. Calvin Hayes, a man who always defines the moment.
I have just but 1 minute, 60 seconds pressed in it. I didn't seek it, nor did I choose it, but it's up to me to use it. I must suffer if I lose it, give account if I abuse it. Just a tiny little minute, but eternity is in it. Good morning.
Good morning.
I think we could do a little bit better than that. Good morning.
Good morning.
For this is the day that the Lord has made, and we shall rejoice and be glad in it. I am so grateful to be back here in the wonderful city of Orlando, Florida, a city that gave me wings and allowed me to fly, a city that raised me to be the old man that I am today. And y'all, after 30 years, old years on this planet, I can truly say that there is no place like Orlando. And I don't say that just because of the theme parks. I say that because of the village that exists here. As I look out into the audience, I see so many friends and supporters. I see organizations, particularly the YMCA of Orlando. The YMCA that made sure that I was exposed to higher education, took me on a college tour, and made sure that I had enough community service hours to get into schools like Princeton, Vanderbilt, Brown University, and ultimately Florida A&M University. I'm extremely grateful for all the elected and public officials here, and for the leadership team of the YMCA, even Mr. Dan Wilcox, who has been a great supporter from my early days when I used to compete against his son in the 800-meter run in high school. But as I look out into the audience, I also see other folks. I see men. I would be remiss if I didn't bring up the 100 Black Men of Orlando. And these men, Mr. Sneed, Mr. Rogers, Mr. Perry, and so many others. These men not only wore suits, but these men, they gave me a suit and taught me how to tie a tie so that I not only could be somebody, but so that I could look like somebody. And and I'm so happy that those suits came with a great accessory. In the pockets, they came with a scholarship every year to make sure that I graduated debt-free. So thank you so much to the 100 Black Men of Orlando. And for the all tied up dress store for keeping me fresh all day, all night. Also want to thank Mayor Dyer, wonderful leader. Thank you so much for your sacrifice, sir. Over the years, it was because of the mayor's office in Orlando that even before I graduated from college, I had a professional internship in his communications office, and I had a little something to put on my resume before I graduated from college. So, so grateful for the mayor's office. I'm also pleased to have my family here. They're over here at the table if they don't mind standing. I have my mom, my dad, my grandmothers, my aunts. I have my in-laws there, my dad, best electrician in this city. But I also see best friends and supporters, Neil and his wife, and my other best friend, Elliot, that's here. But on a real note, I did not have to look outside of my home for a role model. You know, some folks have to look in a magazine or go to the movie theater to find that hero. I'm so grateful that I had that hero in my mother. And my mother, we didn't have much. But she sacrificed every last dime to make sure that we could succeed. And I have to be very transparent with you this morning. Is it okay if I be transparent with you? All right, well, early on, you guys know I graduated from the best high school in the world, Jones High School. And I matriculated to Florida A&M University, the best university in the country. I don't know if there's any doctors in the room, but anybody that disputes those two facts should be checked out immediately. Okay, so everything was going well my freshman year of college. But then my sophomore year of college, I'll never forget it. Almost feels like yesterday. And I was having a deep conversation on campus with a friend. And I had a severe injury that happened to me. I was standing in front of this place called the Grand Ballroom and almost had to be rushed to the hospital. The reason being is because as I was standing on campus, a bad and beautiful young lady by the name of Kendall Sunshine Johnson walked by me and my neck almost snapped out of place. And so at the time, her name was Kendall Sunshine Johnson. But at that moment, I knew that I wanted to change her name, no disrespect to my in-laws, to Kendall Sunshine Hayes. And y'all, 10 years later, she still has my neck turning. Y'all, if you would loan me a little bit of your time this morning, and I would like to speak from the title, Sitting on the Dock of the Bay. If you've already had your coffee from Wawa and it's not too early for you, you don't feel too bougie, please turn and tell your neighbor, sitting on the dock of the bay. Mayor Dyer, that's your neighbor. Say it, sit on the dock of the bay. Sitting on the Dock of the Bay, a great song that was written in the great heyday of my generation. And you young folks like Mina Ford or Ms. Goodwin probably don't know about it because you prefer music like Cardi B, the Migos, and Jay-Z. But for some of you who know good music, you're familiar with the words of Otis Redding. It stirs something in your soul. It takes you back to a time long ago, hopefully not too long ago, when you used to go to the AmVet VFW Club, Eden, and the Rainbow. Yeah, you thought I didn't know anything about those places. And you used to do a little two-step and not have to worry about the injury the next day. And if you're anything like my grandmother, who is a Bible-toting, holy rolling hot mama, the words of Otis Redding stir something in your soul. But you know, this morning, it's not the tone of the song that strikes my attention, but it's the text of the song that captures my curiosity. And I don't have to sing the words, but brother